Hello and welcome to this tutorial. I just wanted to try and finish off my flight simulator series of tutorials so that they are useful for people, to at least get people started with the add-ons you're going to need, and people can decide what's right for them. I think there's a level of add-ons that is useful, and then you can have too many add-ons and that becomes a faff because you have so many things going and it doesn't always work out. So it's important to master the ones you've got before you get loads more. But this is an add-on called projectfly, which I wasn't planning on making a tutorial for because it wasn't previously accessible, but they have updated it to version 3, making it a lot more accessible, so I thought I would just include this in this series. What projectfly is, it's an application for your simulator which is like a virtual airline in a way. It's kind of a virtual airline, but it's different to a normal VA. So you can create your own fleet, you are an independent pilot, and you can essentially search up a flight, a scheduled flight. So it could be an American Airlines flight, it could be a United Airlines flight, whatever. And you can set it up and connect to your simulator and fly that flight, and it adds it to your logbook. So you accumulate hours, you accumulate your fleet, etc. And at the moment it's in a mode where you can just fly randomly wherever you'd like. There is going to be a mode coming up in the future with a career mode, so you can kind of map your own career out and do various things with actually, you know, earning a career in flying as you get different awards and things. Now, how accessible that's going to be, I don't know, and how interactive that will be for us, but at the moment projectfly is very good. And so I just wanted to demonstrate it to you. So I've loaded up in the simulator in a random Airbus on the ground at Birmingham in the UK. And we're going to pretend that I want to do a flight from Birmingham across to Belfast. EGAA is the code. And I want to just show you how I would create the flight on projectfly and set it up so that I can then fly this flight as we go on projectfly. I think it's a very useful add-on, and yeah, so let's actually get started. Let's go to projectfly here and just let it load. It's very accessible. It loads kind of in a website format.
Projectfly graphic logo, projectfly list with 3 items, link graphic.
So you can see it's loaded the page, and it loads me on the status page, which is the home page. So if we go down,
link graphic clickable minimize, link graphic clickable close, out of list graphic clickable logo, navigation landmark list with 4 items, link graphic clickable status.
So we've got the status, which is the home page with all my information on.
Link clickable status, link graphic clickable radar.
Radar, that's not a very accessible part. It's where you can see all the aircraft that are currently flying.
Link graphic clickable community.
Community, that's if you want to go and look at support tickets or posts on the forum.
Link clickable community, link graphic clickable support.
And support is, yeah, that's the support tickets. The community, I think, is like the forums. But the main part we need is the status, which we're currently on. So this is like my home page.
High blind flight simmer, heading level 1.
So it says High Blind Flight Simmer.
Button fly now.
There's a Fly Now button, which we're going to go to in a minute, which will allow me to set up a flight.
Flying now, heading level 3.
Flying now. So this is just a little table of some people who are flying now. It's not everyone, it's just the top people.
Table with 4 rows and 4 columns, row 1, column 1, heading level 3, BA 428.
BA 428, British Airways.
428.
That's the call sign. You can just see. It's EGLL Heathrow to Amsterdam, and etc. And then it just links you to the radar. So that's just a nice thing if you want to see who's flying.
Row 2, column 1, B61,808. Row 3, row 4, I62W, heading level.
These are all call signs of people who are flying.
Flight sim news, heading level 3.
These are some flight sim news.
Heading level 3.
That's the latest projectfly news.
Beta update 18, contract improvements.
Beta update 18, etc. This is currently in beta version 3, but it works just fine.
Projectfly heading level 3.
And this is my information here. You see, this is my passport, and here you'll be able to see, as you do more flights and you fly to different places around the world, your passport will get filled in. So you know, you can fly to all different countries and view that.
Declan Webster heading level 5.
Declan Webster, that's my profile.
Clickable level 5, view profile.
View profile. Account type. I'm currently a blue member. That's just some kind of member that I am.
Total flights heading level 5.
Total flights. 2. I only have 2 at the moment because I recently erased all my data to start afresh because something wasn't working. But I have 2 flights at the moment.
Total hours heading level 5.
Total hours. is 2 hours, 45 minutes and 34 seconds. That's obviously both my flights combined. Average landing rate is minus 646 feet per minute due to FSX Pilot's terrible landing capabilities, of course. But that's my average landing rate anyway.
Most flown aircraft heading level 5.
Most flown
Heading level
aircraft.
GG.
And that's Golf Echo. Oh no. Golf. Yeah, you can see it there. That's the registration. And so that's the registration of that particular plane
Level 5 last flight.
that I've flown most, apparently. The last flight, this is the flight that we're actually going to be planning in a second, EGBB, which is Birmingham to EGAA. It just shows you my last flight, and that is it. So it just shows you a bit of information. Now, there's one more thing you may need. So if we go right back up, where it says Stratus, if you left click on that, okay, it's not going to work. I'll tell you what I'll do. If you use your mouse to do it, like this, what you have to do is just left click on where it says Stratus. There we go. That's just Team Talk, and it brings up a list. So you've got your bookings, which is your booked flights, your fleet, which you can go in there and add and edit aircraft that you currently have. Logbook, that will show you all the time, the hours, the distance, and etc. that you've accumulated. And contracts, so you can create contracts to give aircraft to another pilot to fly if you don't want to fly them somewhere for you. So, you know, because each aircraft you create will have a home base airport. So really, you want all your aircraft back at home base as much as possible. You know, you don't just want to be leaving them stranded randomly. So if you don't want to fly them back, you can always set up a contract. So what we're going to do is go to Fly Now anyway.
Fly Now button.
We're going to click on this.
Search airfields, edit, land.
And it's put me in the search airfields box because I am departing. Okay, so we can see this is like a form. And it's got I am arriving, so this is where you can do all this. Now there is a strange bug where if I put this into the box, it might not. Yeah, let me do it again. So select airfield, EGBB, that's where we're departing from. And that's the one we want. And it puts me into the arrival box, although it sometimes doesn't work, but let's try EGAA. Oh no, it did. So we're going to EGAA Belfast International. Yeah, perfect. And now this is the cool part, because what it does is it searches through all the schedules, real world schedules, and it will show me all the aircraft and airlines that do this particular flight and what time they go out and the duration, so I can then go and pick which one I want to fly. So if I just take us right up to the top of this page, perfect. So it says 12 flights found. So the first flight that's the call sign, WT8006. And that's the call sign. And we can see it's an Embraer 120 that does that. We can see the registration is there. It tells me when it goes out in Zulu time and when it arrives. I'm not going to be flying that one. That's not the one I want. That's another flight, U2192. That's easy, so Easy Jet in the UK. And this is the one we're going to do. So it shows me it's an A319. The registration is... There you go, that's the registration of this particular aircraft. And it tells me when it goes out.
0805.
And it lands.
Clickable aircraft status. Heading clickable level 30805Z. 0905.
Perfect.
Heading clickable level 3 1 o'clock. Duration. Heading clickable level 3 U2192.
Okay, so that shows me the duration. So essentially what this tells me here is that that's the registration. It tells me that it goes out at 0750 Zulu time. You can convert that to whatever your time zone is. And we can see that it arrives, apparently, at 0805 Zulu time. That's apparently when it arrives. So, yeah, okay, I'm not quite sure that adds up, but okay.
0905.
Maybe it's 0905, I think.
Heading clickable level 3 1 o'clock.
And then it shows me that it says 1 o'clock. All that just means it's 1 hour, because because it says duration, so it's a 1 hour flight. So we're going to fly this flight, so we're going to go up.
0807 319 U2192 120 heading clickable level U2192 heading clickable
And that's
level
the
3.
flight easy
Heading clickable level 3 U2192.
2192.
192.
There we go.
Heading clickable
So we're
level
going to enter on it,
project fly.
and it brings up a page where I can complete my booking here.
Let's complete your no previous. Let's complete your booking.
Let's
level
complete
2.
your
Flight
booking. So it
Heading
says flight
U2192.
number U2192, call sign
Departure
EZ192.
time Zulu.
Departure time in
At
Zulu
0705.
is 0705.
Arrival time Zulu.
Arrival
At
time
0805.
is 0805. Yeah, that makes sense. That's 1 hour, just as it said.
Departure.
Departure
Birmingham International.
is from Birmingham International.
Belfast International.
Arrival is Belfast International. Flight type
Schedule.
is set to scheduled. If it wasn't, I could click on that and go into the list and change it to scheduled, because obviously this is not a charter, it's a scheduled operation.
Clickable. Flight rules.
Flight
Clickable,
rules,
IFR.
IFR is currently set. If it wasn't, I could go in and change that to VFR if we were, like a Cessna or GA.
Clickable. Select aircraft.
Select aircraft.
Clickable. Select aircraft.
If you already have the particular aircraft registration in your fleet, then you can come in here and select the aircraft to fly. If you do not have it in your fleet, you will have to come in here and add that particular aircraft. So if you remember, the registration of the aircraft that we're going to be flying for this flight was MVDA said it was GESGA, so it was G-EZGA. That's the registration. So I think I have this aircraft already, so we can go select aircraft. If we look,
with 4 items clickable EIDHVB 738 Ryanair.
that's a 737 Ryanair, and its registration is EIDHV. That's not the one we want.
Clickable GGCDHAT Fly Air.
That's a -8 for Flybe in the UK. We don't want that.
Clickable GSGA 319 EasyJet E.
And that's the one we want. GESGA A319 EasyJet, and it tells me EGAA because that's where it's currently positioned. Because I previously flew it there, but we're just going to pretend we're doing it. So we're going to select.
Out of list select aircraft. Clickable A319 GSGA.
Perfect.
Network. Clickable offline.
Network, you can select if you're on VATSIM or offline or whatever.
Clickable. Button book.
And book
Button book and dispatch.
or book and dispatch. Dispatch means we're going to go and set up the flight plan, so we're going to go and click book and dispatch.
Oh, booking unavailable.
Perfect.
Dispatch project fly.
Dispatch.
Clickable,
So then we have some options. We have SimBrief automatic. You've got SimBrief advanced, import.pln, or paste or type a route. We're just going to import a PLN here because I already have the PLN. It's a lot easier.
Open dialog. File. JFO in flight plan.
And we're going to go all the way down. That's the one, EGBB, EGAA. Perfect. Enter. And it's dispatched it, so we're just going to press B. And it shows me all my flights that I've currently got booked, and that's the perfect one. So we're going to go fly now. And it will launch up a page where we can track our flight on the radar, and we can literally just fly this flight now as we would normally, leaving the page open to track it, and then file it at the end.
Menu. Track
flight project fly. So you can see right at the top it says U2192, which is the EasyJet call sign. Flight progress, you can see it says Birmingham International, EGBB, Belfast International, EGAA, so that's our departure and arrival. Then it gives us flight information. So it gives us our current heading, which is 145 degrees. Apparently we're currently at the gate. Distance 207 nautical miles, that's to our destination airport with the flight plan. That's a very helpful reading, especially if you're using FSX Pilot, because you can use that to help measure where your top of descent will be. I usually start descending if I'm in an Airbus, in the flight levels like 350 or something. You're going to want to start descending about 160 something like that nautical miles out, so that's a very helpful reading. Altitude gives you current altitude, 334 feet. Obviously that's our current altitude at the airport, because we're just on the ground. That's what it is above sea level, obviously. Ground speed is 0 knots, although it will show you that properly once you're in the air. Be aware that is your true ground speed. It's not indicated. Cruise speed. That says not available. Sometimes the aircraft will have a designated cruise speed if you've set that up. I haven't worked out how to set it up yet, so whatever. Flight phase. This is also helpful. It currently shows me as pre-flight. Once I set FSX Pilot to taxi, or I move the throttles a little bit or something, it would move to saying taxi. As soon as I reach the runway and begin takeoff, it would read takeoff, etc. And I'd just fly it as normal.
52.452
shows me latitude, longitude,
Offline.
network,
Stop.
offline, squawk,
Rule.
1200,
IFR. Heading
rules,
level 3 files in
IFR,
Discord.
and etc. That's literally it. So my simulator's open, so it's got all that info. It's set up to go through FSUI PC, which is like a piece of linking software that you can have for your simulator, or that you really do need to have, to be honest with you. And it will just link across by it sends the information from the simulator to projectfly, basically. So then I can literally just fly this flight as normal with FSX Pilot, land the aircraft, and use projectfly along the way for information such as distance and ground speed. Land the plane. It will show me my landing rate, which hopefully won't be too bad, but with FSX Pilot the landing rate can be pretty ridiculous. And then you just taxi or not taxi, spawn at the moment at least to the gate at your destination airport, and you can shut everything down in the aircraft, come back in here and click complete flight. So if I press B,
Complete flight button.
you've got complete flight,
Button divert flight.
divert flight if you need to divert it,
Button cancel flight.
and cancel flight. Perfect. So you could just complete it once you're done, and that information will all be saved to your logbook. It's a very helpful add-on. It's fun because it adds a purpose. I don't tend to fly for a lot of VAs. I don't have a lot of VAs that I fly for. I'd like to do more for VAs, and this doesn't do everything that a VA would do, because specific virtual airlines have different things to offer. But the advantage with projectfly is you can fly for any airline you like, and it's your personal kind of hub. You get your own stats, your own fleet, and it's very accessible. It also is helpful in the way that it gives you a lot of information whilst you're flying. It gives you the exact distance to your destination. It gives you your your true ground speed. Some of this information FSX Pilot won't give us, so it's very helpful. It's not mandatory, but it's fun. If you getting a bit bored with your simulation and just doing random flights, I would recommend something like projectfly. It really gives you a purpose to fly, because you know what flights you want to do. You can fly for an airline, and then you can say, okay, well, my aircraft aren't back at home base, I could fly them back. It really gives you a purpose, something to do, which is important in simulation. You don't just want to always be randomly flying, because it can get a bit boring. So projectfly is a great add-on, and of course the advantage with it is as well, it's like a radar. So if you have a smartphone, you can go, or a tablet, or anything that can connect to the internet, you can go onto the projectfly website, and I have tried this and it works selectively. It's not great on accessibility, but you should be able to, in theory, go onto the projectfly website, search up your aircraft, and view its altitude, its speed, and things like that. So if you are doing a long haul, for example, a very long flight, and you want to just leave the simulator running with projectfly and you have to head out or something, you can leave it and just check on it and say, okay, yeah, we're still up at the correct altitude and we're still cruising along, everything looks good, yeah, perfect, and just carry on with your day. If that's what you want to do, then it's helpful for that as well. So it's a very good add-on. It's free at the moment, but once it's out of the beta version of projectfly, you will have to pay for upgrades. So you can get a free account which will give you certain features, but there will be things to pay for, but you'll still be able to use it pretty much just as I've shown, at least for free. So it's a very good add-on. I'd recommend checking it out, especially if you're a more advanced simmer and you're used to these kind of VAs. Then it's something worth considering, and it shouldn't take you long to learn the interface at all. Anyway, thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope it's been helpful, and just to draw attention really to projectfly, which I never really gave a thought to, because it wasn't very accessible, but they've either by chance, I think probably more by chance, to be honest with you, they've just adjusted the interface in version 3 and it's a lot better. So let me get rid of projectfly, because I'm not actually going to fly that flight. I don't need to.
Folder, stop running application. Track flight project, fly one running. Track flight.
Oh, we don't need
Folder,
that.
running people button. Running deck with Microsoft flight. Deck with Microsoft profile. Untitled scene.
Yeah, we don't need the sim.
Profile.
Right, anyway, thanks for watching. And by the way, this can be used with P3D or FSX. I just had FSX open because I was just demonstrating it with a random aircraft. But you can use it with either. You can even use it with any other simulator that you have, really, that is accessible, whether it be P3D, FSX, even things like FS 2004, which nobody uses, but it can be used with. It's very versatile. Okay, thanks for
List,
watching.
list, exit, group, stop recording, split button.